Hello, moviegoers! It's time for another episode of CritiCarter, the show where I turn you into a cinephile. Today, I saw the new film, The Raven, directed by James McTeigue, co-written by Ben Livingston, and Hannah Shakespeare. Yeah, Hannah Shakespeare. Starring John, I Can't Believe High Fidelity Was 10 Years Ago, Cusack, Luke, Somehow I Was in Clash of the Titans and Immortals, Evans, Alice, very glad she wasn't Emma Frost, Eve, and Brandon, who knew Mad-Eye Moody would be such a great career choice, Gleeson. In this film, Edgar Allan Poe is called upon by the police when it seems that his macabre stories are being used by a serial killer to become disturbing reality. I was kind of worried going into this film, but I was like, okay, it's John Cusack. He's gonna get me through, right? I mean, this is the guy who brought us Say Anything. You know, so he's gotta be good for a performance or two. He did War Inc. a few years back, which was a great Iraq War satire. I gotta say, Cusack, he let me down a little bit. While I enjoy the interpretation of Poe as, you know, the poor, struggling author, despite the fact that he's had a reasonable amount of fame in the past, Cusack takes it some places that I think it was just not meant to be taken. At least half the film, he's doing some serious channeling of Nick Cage, acting-wise. I think we've got enough wild, over-the-top actors with just Nick Cage. At least he was better than Alice Eve, though. Alice Eve seriously cannot act. Like, I don't want to go too much, you know, spoiler details, kind of, but she gets into some trouble, and she's having a conversation with another character, and you don't believe at all that she's genuinely concerned about her situation. She doesn't seem to be afraid, I guess would be the word. You know, maybe that's the director's fault for not telling her, hey, you should do the scene this way. Maybe it's just her fault for not knowing how to do the scene the right way. In terms of the story overall, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about, really, but it really, really falls apart in the third act, and the ending is just all sorts of trite. I didn't expect this movie to be stellar, but I really hoped it would be more than it turned out. It's not just the problems that The Raven had. Speaking of which, terrible, terrible title. The title has almost nothing to do with the entire movie except for the fact that The Raven was a story that Poe wrote. Probably the most famous story that he wrote, but it doesn't appear at all in the plot of the film. Why call it The Raven? Who knows? If you can tell me why they called this movie The Raven, I would love that. So just, you know, leave me a little comment. Explain to me why this movie is called what it's called, because I don't know.
Do you even remember what The Raven was about?
I'll recite The Raven right here, right now. Okay.
I don't remember. Recite it. Go for it.
Okay, if you gave me the first line, I could recite it. Like, it's something, you know, one night there came a rapping as of someone gently tapping, someone rapping upon my chamber door, you know, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
You know, quote The Raven nevermore, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't quote The Raven. This kind of movie, right? You have Edgar Allan Poe, all kinds of fascinating historical figure. You could talk about how he married his 13-year-old cousin. You know, you could talk about the fact that he was an alcoholic. You know, you could observe how he goes from being, you know, renowned writer to dying penniless.
Renowned writer?
What? A renowned writer,
Oh.
DJ. But no. Instead, we get a version of Edgar Allan Poe that is somewhat close. Again, maybe 50% of the real thing. The lady that Alice Eve played in this movie, who, the fiancée of Edgar Allan Poe, complete work of fiction. She didn't exist at all. I've looked into it. They also give him like this raccoon that he owns. Like they go to his office and it's like, oh hey, we found this raccoon on your desk. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah, he's mine. And it seemed like a very strange thing. Again, I haven't found anything about Edgar Allan Poe owning a raccoon. Like, if you can find some evidence of this, please send it to me. Like I said, if I'm ever wrong about something, please let me know. Back up your source. He also, and maybe this is just me being a little nitpicky, he had a goatee. He had like a Tony Stark kind of goatee, you know, just this bit here. Every picture that I was able to find of Edgar Allan Poe, he's got a mustache. Just a, you know, little mustache thing going on right here. None of this. None of this. Where is this source photo that you used to get the costume and the hair and makeup going? This isn't the Edgar Allan Poe that I know, and this really isn't the Edgar Allan Poe anybody else knows. It's like Abraham Lincoln. We got 2 movies coming out this year about Abraham Lincoln. One of them, just called Lincoln, directed by Steven Spielberg. Straight, accurate portrayal of the man's life. And then we have Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, in which a young version of the nation's 16th president hunts vampires, because they are not only responsible for his mother's death, but the American Civil War. Why do we need to make renowned fictional figures' lives more interesting by adding elements that aren't anywhere close to things that actually happen to them? If you can answer that question, you're a better person than I am. I'm gonna have to give this 1.5 out of 5 alcoholic authors. You can check out my review last week of The Cabin in the Woods up there. Next week, I will be seeing, of course, Avengers, son. It's going up over there. I don't think there's even anything else coming out next week, so even if Avengers wasn't gonna be the first epic film of the summer blockbuster season, I'd still be seeing it. Avengers next week, over there. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel. Boom. I've got 1,100 of you. I love every single one of you. Please tell your friends, and feel free to spread your love to my Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr pages. It's CritiCarter all over the place. Easy enough to find. You found me here, you can find me there.
Better get the phone.
Someone gonna answer the goddamn phone? Why is the phone even in here? We're trying to shoot, and the phone's going off like. I don't even know. Can we just finish the video? Just fade to black.